A lot of my videos are like trying to reverse engineer a specific person's style or the style of a character in a movie or a TV show. But sometimes in all of my vintage perusing, I just come across like categories of things that I think are so cool and I end up shopping for that they don't fit into any kind of bigger category. It's just like cool stuff that I happen to really like. So we're not gonna do some big reverse engineering topic today. We're just gonna talk about one of my latest vintage shopping obsessions, which is like old school, retro, 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s souvenir swag. All sorts of things that were obviously made as like souvenir merch, and I just find so ridiculously charming. There's just something about it that feels, it's like so nostalgic. So I'm going to share all the things that I've been saving to my wish list, and I don't know, maybe you'll be into it too. The first is this just little like ringer t-shirt from the 60s, 70s, and I just think it's so cute. A lot of what we're gonna be talking about, like the common thread and all of this, is the color palette. And the colors on this shirt are so good. It's like yellow, green, and blue. And then you have that like navy blue ringer stripe around the sleeves and the neck. This would look so good tucked into a pair of vintage Levi's. And that's how I would wear it. Literally just a pair of jeans and like a pair of sandals or like some little rhinestone mesh flats. I don't know, like a little hot pink pair of heels or like a little silver ballet flat. Something kind of like fun and feminine on your feet. I think this category of clothing is like inherently very fun. So the more you lean into that like playful, fun energy, the better. And yeah, I just love this t-shirt. I think it's such a great vintage graphic tee. $48. It looks like thin and worn in a good way. Not like it's worn out. Seems like it still has a lot of life left in it, but like it's gonna give you that really like loose, worn in, soft feeling. Another little t-shirt. This one is adorable. From the 80s, I believe this is like a children's t-shirt, and that I think is fine. Obviously, check the measurements, but like a shirt made for an older kid will probably fit a lot of adults as like a fitted baby tee, which can be a very cute kind of vibe. And this shirt, I just think it's so good. Again, the color palette, it's this like blue and yellow, in this case red instead of green, but that like blue and yellow is just doing so much in terms of making it feel really nostalgic. I think the typography is adding a lot there too. This one is for the Grouse Mountain Sky Ride, which is just like, it's so fun. You have this little like tram graphic. I love that the typography of this is also breaking the edge of that circle. I think that's a very nice design detail. And again, you could totally just wear this with a pair of jeans or a pair of shorts and it would be adorable. Shirts like this are also great to wear under a jacket because the graphic is going to just peek out a little bit and it just gives you a little bit more intrigue than if you were wearing a plain colored shirt. Another t-shirt, we're gonna run through like a bunch of t-shirts first. There's just a lot of souvenir t-shirts out there, and so I found a lot of good ones, including this one, which I think is adorable. I really like the style of the typography on this. It's like a little bit more of that like antique book plate kind of serif font, which I think is really cool. It's doing something different than the last two shirts. But again, you have like plain white t-shirt with a little bit of typography and then this very primary, playful color palette. Also, I'm just gonna point out really quickly that for vintage white t-shirts to be in good condition and not stained is so hard to find sometimes. And all of the shirts I have shown so far have fallen into that category. They're in like very good condition. Another t-shirt, I did warn you, it's just gonna be like t-shirt central for a minute. And then we're gonna move on to other things. But for a minute, it's just t-shirts. And I do love this little Indianapolis Motor Speedway shirt. It's ringer style, like that first one. So you get that very cute contrast of the navy blue collar and the sleeves, but you have like a little race car motif, which I think is very fun. And again, this is one that looks like worn thin, but in a good way, where it's gonna like hang and drape on your body in a really cool way. This one's obviously much more expensive than the last few have been. $200 for me is a little bit steep for a vintage t-shirt, but the design of this is very cute. Okay, another one from the 60s. I love this one. It's from Niagara Falls. You can actually find a lot of Niagara Falls souvenir swag. Whoever was working at the Niagara Falls merchandising department from like 1950 to 1990 was working overtime. But this t-shirt I think is great. I really like the color of the shirt itself. It's a little bit more of that like bone off-white cream color. Again, you have this primary color palette, but you get the little addition of this like really warm purple. And I really like the way that they've designed the sky and the clouds, where the clouds kind of bleed into the background of the shirt. So it's not like a perfect delineation between the graphic and the rest of the t-shirt. It kind of fades between the two. And there's something about that that I just really like. This one might be my favorite of the bunch. I like them all, but this one is a really good t-shirt. Okay, technically another t-shirt, but it's a deviation in that it's a Henley. This one's from the 90s and much more minimal in terms of the graphic. We just have like a little graphic right on the chest. But I love that this is gray and I love that this is a Henley. I think it's so cute. I think there's a casualness to this that is really nice because of those buttons. And I would wear them undone, and I would layer some like fun beaded necklaces over or under or around that button situation. Like I would very much wear this with like denim cutoffs and sandals and like beachy jewelry and stuff that it feels like you would wear or even have bought on like a beach vacation. That said, you could also totally take this into winter and just layer it. You could put a white t-shirt under this, or a little colorful striped long sleeve t-shirt under this, or you could layer a sweater over this. And I think if you had a V-neck sweater and you have those little Henley buttons kind of poking out, it could be very cute. Moving finally outside of the realm of t-shirts, I have also been totally obsessed with these children's souvenir wallets, which yes, these were made for kids. No, they are not like high quality items. These are made of vinyl, they're made of plastic, but I think they are so charming and they just make me feel the same feeling I had when I was a kid on summer break. I will say these feel like something that Bodhi would totally recreate and sell for like $400, $500. The sailboat, the hand painting on this, the nautical flags, that like little bit of typography, the white stitching around the edge, all of these things feel very Bodhi coded. And this is $11. So if you can get like Bodhi energy for $11, need I say more? I found another similar one over on eBay, and I love this hand-painted dolphin and the hand-painted deer. Oh, it's just so good. The typography on this one is really nice too. I like that shaded two-color lettering. I just feel like if you had this in your bag and you pulled it out, it would bring you so much joy, and anyone else who saw it would want to know where you got that wallet. These also all seem to have like photo sleeves, which I'm not against. I totally think you could like fill these with photos. Why not? Print off some of your photos, which is a thing none of us do anymore, and put them in your wallet. And then every time you open your wallet, you'll see your friends or your boyfriend or your partner or your girlfriend or your dog or your cats or your grandma and grandpa or whoever. Maybe you just put a picture of yourself in there and you just admire yourself and all of your myriad incredible qualities. No one says we can't do that. While we're on the topic of wallets and therefore bags, I also want to share this Calgary, Canada bag. I think it's so cute. I love the red. I love that the strap of this is red and white striped, and that strap runs all the way down the sides of the bag and ends in those like little pom-pom tassels. And then I just think the like knit design of this like intarsia knit is so fun. You have like a little bull rider. It's from Calgary, Canada. The back of this bag says Stampede City, just such a good phrase. I feel like if you wore this with a little navy blue sweater in the fall or the winter, it would be adorable. Another thing you could put in your bag is this Canadian compact. I personally love to have a little mirror with me. I don't like to check my face in my phone. Like the camera's just not as good as a literal mirror. And I feel like nobody carries mirrors anymore, and that's something that we should bring back. And this is a great way to bring it back because it's so cute. You have these like 4 different little like landmarks set in a maple leaf and that Canadian Mountie saluting. Oh, it's just so cute. I think this is adorable. It feels really special. It feels like an heirloom. Like this is something you would want to keep and eventually pass down, even though it's only $30. Okay, this next one is a bit of a curveball, but I recently discovered these vintage souvenir pillowcases, which seem to be something that was made as a gift for people in the military to give to their loved ones. Maybe you've heard about these before. I hadn't. It's new to me. They're kind of funny. They're like almost campy how over the top they are. They're like very colorful. They have this very bold typography. There's a lot of design, and then they have like colorful fringe. And I guess people used to put decorative pillowcases like this on their couches. And you still could. You could still use this as a pillowcase, but I want one of these to wear as a top. Now stick with me. I want to fold one of these into a little triangle, like bandana style, and wear it as either a strapless top or over a white t-shirt, which Kelly Klein recently posted a photo from her trip to Wyoming this summer where she was wearing a bandana, triangle style, over a white t-shirt. And I think one of these pillowcases would look really cool in that context. If you think about it not as a pillowcase, just as like a graphic, it's doing a lot of the same things as a graphic t-shirt. I think especially if you fold it, you know, in half on the diagonal, it's going to be a little bit more abstract too. You're not going to see the full design. You're not going to see all of the typography. And I just think that little like bit of fringe dangling from the bottom would be really cool. Like, I think it would be cool. I'm probably going to buy one of these. They're very affordable, so it's like a low stakes risk. And if I do, I'll share a picture and I'll let you know. I'll let you know how it goes. And then this last item that I wanted to share is not even necessarily something that I want to own. I would never wear this, but I just think these are so cool. But they're these like 1940s World War II novelty lingerie sets. They're like all made of satin. They're all embroidered. They're very fun and over the top. And honestly, now that I'm looking at this, like I would totally wear the bra part of this. I don't think I would wear the bottoms, but sweet and sour don't touch. Like, that's very cool. I think the colors of this are actually really nice too. It's a really kind of sophisticated color palette, but used in a way that's very campy and playful and fun. I've found many of these sets. They tend to be expensive. This is $585, so I will not be buying it, but I just had to include them because I think they're really delightful. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you have the money to spend on something like this. It could be a very fun, like, bachelorette gift. If you're going to a bachelorette where they're doing the, like, gifting lingerie thing, this is a very special way to do that. And like I said, now that I'm looking at it, I would totally, if it was less expensive, I would totally wear the bralette part of this. I think it could even be really cute under a button up that you have unbuttoned so you can see that typography. And like a bralette with typography on it is not something I have seen made currently. So it would feel very novel. It would feel very unique and like something people haven't seen before, which is always secretly what I'm going for. So that is my current souvenir swag wish list. I've just been finding, like I said, so many fun things in this category, and all of them have the same kind of playful energy that I've just been finding like so appealing. And I don't know, like I love clothes that feel fun. I love clothes that aren't taking themselves too seriously and just feel like playful, because if your clothes feel playful, I think you feel more playful and you feel more able to play with your clothes. And ultimately, that's the goal of all of this, is just to have fun. So why not wear clothes that are inherently fun? If you liked this format of video, let me know and I can do more of these. Because like I said, I'm often compiling these like little mini collections of things that don't necessarily fit into a bigger umbrella category. So I could totally share more of this kind of video if that's what you're into. And if you're finding any categories of cool vintage things that you think I should know about, let me know. I'm always trying to discover cool new things.